So we are here at a farm in northeastern Polk County. So Polk County is the county that Des Moines is in. And I'm here at Carney Family Farms with Bruce Carney, and I'll introduce him in a second. But first I want to show you where we're at. So I'm just going to turn the camera. We turn the camera around. There we go. Okay, so you can see where we're at. We're in a gorgeous day. We're here in a pasture. So we're about a less than a half-hour drive from Des Moines. Right now, where we're at. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it over to Bruce Carney. And Bruce, can you tell us a little bit about your farm, the history, and how you got into it?
Sure. Actually, my dad's uncle owned the farm. He acquired it from a guy he worked from that didn't have any kids, so he gave it to him and he purchased one of it. And then it went to my dad and mom, and they still own it. My dad's dead, but my mom still owns it, along with my three sisters and a brother. So it's been in the family since 1950. There's 300 acres here. There's 200 acres of cropland and 100 acres of pasture. Is basically what there is, permanent pasture. I chose to seed it all down, and I raise cattle, and we direct market a lot of cattle direct from the farm.
Okay, so what type of beef cattle operation is this, Bruce?
When I first started out here, I did row crops, so I did grain finishing. I've switched that over in the past probably for 15 years. I've been pretty much straight forage finishing beef. So grass finishing beef, just a little value-added product that sells for a little bit more money than grain finished beef. Just getting away from the commodity market.
Yeah. So a lot of beef cattle farms, and students, maybe some of the ones that you investigated or farmers that you talked to as you were doing high stakes, they may just choose to finish their beef. So they would get some calves from farmers like Bruce or from even out of state, and they would just finish them off. Bruce here, he has the cows that have the calves, and then do you sell some of the calves, Bruce, or do you keep them all and feed them out?
We try to direct market everything direct from the farm. So we might sell a few calves to people. We sell forage finished beef, which takes 24 to 30 months to finish. So there's 2 calf crops here on the farm all the time. There's a herd of cows over there that I calve in the spring and in the fall. So I have calves kind of scattered out over the year that we can market, so they don't get finished at the same time.
Okay, great. Students, do you have any questions so far about Bruce's operation? I get one question that you didn't address, Bruce. Did you go to school for agriculture, or how did you learn how to be a farmer? And have you always done this?
I did not. No, I haven't. When I graduated high school, I went to work construction. I worked in Des Moines construction for White's company for 20 years before I come back to the farm when my dad died and come out here. So that was the other thing. I really didn't have my dad to lean on to learn farm. So I went to a lot of, listened to Iowa State, went to a lot of field days, just different educational things that was out there that I could go to and learn from. So that's how I learned. So no, I didn't know how to farm.
And I only brought that up because I knew Bruce is one, as well as a lot of farmers. They're continually learning and teaching themselves, and Bruce is always off and learning as much as he can, or finds another producer that's doing something and he might like to try and go talk to them. And now a lot of farmers I know you've had some pasture walks where you've had other producers out looking at the type of system that you have. So Bruce, now can you tell us a little bit about pasture management, and students, can you see the cattle in the background? I'm going to pause for just a second because actually they're crossing the creek now. There's a creek there. Do you see the lighter colored between the two green areas? That's a creek that they're crossing. So I just wanted to take a second to point that out, and we might see if we can get a little closer to them later. But first, Bruce, can you talk a little bit about how the pasture is set up? And is it all just one big area? And what does it take to manage it and keep up the pasture?
It's not one big area. When I come out here, my dad pretty much did what they call continuous grazing, which meant we turn them into a big pasture in the spring, and in the fall, bring them back in and come in. As I learned I learned about rotational grazing or high stock density grazing or strip grazing. It's called a lot of different things. I think adaptive grazing is a good word. You need to look at your forage and your animals and you adapt to whatever the situation is. So it could be different, but I move cows anywhere from maybe 2 or 3 times a day to fresh grass to they could be in the same spot for a week. It'd be a bigger area if they was in it for a week. Like if we was going on vacation or something, I'd just give them a bigger area so they'd have the water and the grass that they need for the time we'd be gone, and they wouldn't have to be moved in daily. But I think the biggest thing on pasture that I think most of our pastures in Iowa don't get is rest and recovery time. Grass needs to recover fully before you graze it again. Otherwise, you're going to just deplete the root reserve that you have down there. Basically, if you really look at grass out here, what you're looking at is a solar panel. And if you take your solar panel, which are the blades of grass and the legumes and all your forage out here, if you eat that all off and take it clear to the ground, it's got to recover, and it uses the energy stored in the roots of the grass to regrow. So it takes a lot longer to recover if you eat too much of it down to the ground. If you leave, say, half, 50 or 60% of it, then you don't use the root reserve. It grows back from the photosynthesis in the sun, and it'll grow back a lot faster that way.
Okay.
So rest and recovery are huge when you're looking at pasture, and you'll grow more forage because it takes less time to grow that grass back as a solar panel as it does from using the root and the reserved energy that you have in the plant.
Okay, so this pasture, again, how many acres was it? The whole thing?
The whole farm is 300
Okay,
acres.
but how many? Give us an idea of how many sections you probably got it divided up into, or but some of them you're moving all the time. So
we're moving all the time, but if you look out there across the top of that hill over there, basically there's, let's say there's 200 acres over there, and it's in 4 big paddocks is what it is. So there's 4 fences that go the full length of that. But what I do then is take temporary reels and posts, and I will just section off however much of that strip I want to give them. So there could be 10, 15 different paddocks in that strip, depending on if the grass is 2 or 3 foot tall or if it's a foot tall. So it depends, in the spring, grass grows fast, so you move cows fast. As the summer, you get hot, July and August, grass growth slows down, so you slow down your moves. And that's kind of opposite thinking. When I learned that, it was kind of backwards of what I thought. But when the grass grows slow, you move slow. When it grows fast, you move fast. And right now, the grass should be growing up under the cows. You're growing way more grass than you're eating.
okay, how do they get water? Where's the water source?
Well, there's a number of water sources. You go out in the middle of all these paddocks out here on the hill, and I got waters set up, automatic waters or hydrants that I hook a tank to with a flow pump. And they're up at my house. There's actually 3 different watering systems on this farm. I got a well at my house that I pump water out to a lot of these. If you go to the east side of the road, I got 60 acres on the east side of the road. There's actually a spring over there, and there's a gravity fed system that comes down that dumps into 2 wells. It dumps into, it has 2 automatic waters and hydrants, different locations. And then there's a half a dozen places here that I still have access to the creek right down here where Cindy was talking about the cows crossing the creek. Is a heavy use area is what USDA calls it. And there's access to the creek down there where they can go in and water and then come back out. So there's 3 different systems for water depending on where I'm at.
Okay, so before we talk a little bit more about conservation practices, let's break for some questions from the students. What questions do you have? Anything about what we've talked about so far?
Question here and put it into the camera and ask it directly.
Will, how's the sound? Do we need a speaker? Microphone?
We're okay.
Okay.
Bend down and look right in. There you go.
How many cows do you have on the farm?
Actual cows, mama cows, I probably got about 125. And then, like I said, there's probably 2 calf crops here. So there's another 250 that are grass finishing or anywhere from 1,100-1,200 pounds ready to market or newborn calves.
Great. Another question? Who has one?
Now, elementary students, they all have their hands up in the air and they're almost fighting to reach to get up to the camera. You guys are a little more reserved and shy. Come on up. Any more questions? Go on.
Question? Okay. Yep, we've got another question.
Okay, great.
Get down, look right at
Do you sell any of your cattle?
I sell, yes, I sell whatever anybody wants to buy. It's all for sale if you want it. I sell some heifers. I've spoken a few bulls this year. We sell grass finished beef, forage finished beef. I'll sell grass calves in the spring for people that want to raise their own. So yeah, I mean, we direct market. They try to direct market everything that we raise on the farm.
Yep, so people could work with Bruce to buy them from weed calf to just beef from them. Buy
Yeah, buying beef or
buying bulls
or even meat stock. So cows or bulls or either one. I dabble a little bit in that too.
Cool.
Okay, we have one more question.
How long does it take to rotate the cows through the other pastures?
It's a pretty. It depends is the answer. It depends on the time of year. In the spring, right now, I go through the whole farm in probably 30 days. It takes me to go around and go through this whole farm. You get into July or August, it's probably twice that. It probably takes 2 months to go through the whole farm. So it depends on where your forage height is, how much forage you have here, how many cows are in the herd that you're moving. There's a lot of things that it depends to answer that question.
Okay, but really not too long when you look at how big it is, and that's because he's moving them quickly. Some farmers will keep them on the pasture for a long time, and he's keeping them to smaller spots, but moving them very often.
And I have one question that also ties in with something they've covered in science. When you're talking about rotating them, how much have you increased the carrying capacity of your pastures when you went to actually rotating them in paddocks?
Well, the simple question, and this was years ago. I haven't really looked at it here lately, but when I first come out here, say 2 or 3 years in, I started rotating pretty heavy and went from a continuous graze pasture to really rotating cows. And I would say my grazing days raised up from 35 to 40% more days in a 3 or 4 year period when I started rotating. I've gained that many grazing days.
Okay, so that means you can have them on the pasture longer because, and they're getting everything they need because you're better managing that pasture.
Growing more grass.
Okay, growing more grass. Great question. Thank you for chiming in. Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about the pasture management and what, I look around and I see grass. Tell me what you're looking for in the pasture and what plants are here.
Well, I'll start with, there's a lot of talk about weeds, and you got to kill the weeds in your pasture, and you got to, because you'll have better grass and everything. And I have a different philosophy. I don't call it a weed on my farm unless it's here for a year and a cow hasn't ate it. So when you're rotational graze or high stock density graze, so put a lot of cows into a small area, they're not near as selective about what they eat. They'll go in and eat everything, because if they don't, the next cow's going to bite it off and eat it. So, you can, as you swing around, you'll see dandelions. Cows love them. That's one weed I see right here. A lot of the other weeds aren't up there. You can see them. There's a lot of different what people call weeds out here in my pasture. And to me, diversity is what we want. So there's probably there's brome, there's orchard, there's fescue, there's bluegrass, timothy. There's probably 6 or 8 different kinds of grasses. Legumes, you got alfalfa, red clover, white clover, birchfoot, trefoil, vetch, all kinds of things. I think to me, the more diverse your pasture is, the more beneficial it is for the cow, because she can pick what she needs nutrition wise out of that, and keep herself healthier, and keep from getting sick, or foot rot or pink eye. There are a lot of normal things that a cow gets, and I think it's all nutrition and vitamin and mineral related.
Okay. Bruce, can you tell us a little bit about some of the conservation practices that you've done here on the farm?
Yeah, we've done a lot of tree plantings up here by the house. All these trees you see up here by the house, around wherever you see trees here, pretty much is trees that we planted. The first bunch of trees I think we planted, had a 4-H group out here for 2 weekends, planted 5,000 trees and shrubs. On a row crop farm like this, when you're going to turn it to pasture, the one thing I don't have is shade, which I need trees for shade, and I don't have windbreaks for in the winter time and storms and stuff. So trees are pretty important, and I need to get more of them to get. They do what they call silvo pasture, which is growing trees and raising beef and forage all on the same acre. So it's kind of a balancing act, and so you can take care of all of them. Which you swing around there, you can see. That's what that fence is around right there by the gate. And you can see those little trees out.
Come with me, Bruce. We're gonna walk up here because not only can you see this tree, but you can also see the type of temporary fencing that he uses to divide the paddocks. So earlier when we got here, Bruce was talking about this tree, and I didn't even realize it was right behind me. So this is a tree that he's wanting to. It's hard to see now. It's little. It's only about 4 feet tall. And of course there's some tall grass around it. Yep, right there. But he has it, he went to the work of fencing it off so the cattle can't get to it and chew on it. And he's trying to get that tree to grow more with a bigger tree. Okay. Yeah, so talk a little bit about the creek and what you've done around the creek.
The areas you can see down through the creek where it's a different color, dark green on one side. Fenced area is in CRP. So I put that all in CRP. The cows have no access to it. The only place they have access is there's 3 or 4 spots on the farm that they call heavy use areas that we rock down into the creek that they can get access for water. Other than that, they're fenced out of it. Between CRP and Equip, we put a lot of water line in, so there's water lines and hydrants out on all these paddocks. So say a 30 acre piece of ground, there's a livestock water or a hydrant in the middle of that, so that I got access to water in every 30 or 40 acres around the farm. The other program I'm in is CSP, which is a Conservation Stewardship Program, I think is what it's called now. It's basically, and I really think that's the best program in my mind, because what it does is it pays you for the conservation practices that you put in place and done. It's not to me, a welfare system where you put your hand out and say, if you give me money and pay me for this, I'll go do it. It's paying you for what you've already done yourself. So I really like that program, and it fits really good for a perennial forage system like this, grass, cow-calf.
Yeah. So Bruce has used a bunch of acronyms and terms. These are all just different government programs that are available to farmers to encourage conservation practices and also make them doable for the farmer. Some of these projects cost a lot to do, and so when the farmer's looking at, they won't be farming the next year if their farm's not making money. So they have to make choices about what they do at what time. So these programs make it a little easier for farmers to implement some of these conservation practices. Okay, before we're going to close by talking about how he markets the beef, but before we do that, any questions about the conservation practices or about the pasture management?
Anybody have any questions? Got one question coming up.
Great.
How many trees are you planning on growing?
Well, I don't know a number. I've probably planted, I'm going to guess, 8 to 10,000 trees out here on this place in the past 20 years. I'm actually working with USDA right now to do a forest management plan on this whole farm and maybe set up some fruit farming. So in other words, plant some trees out here and then put in between those rows and doing some different practices like that. Some wildlife areas. So I don't know what all is out there, but I know USDA and I adopted the federal forestry management plans. So I think they're learning along with us. We're going to see what comes out of it.
Cool. Any other questions before we?
Yep, come on up. Okay, we've got another question coming.
Do you have a pond in your acres, in any of your acres?
I do not have a pond. We have that spring that starts, and we have this creek going through the whole farm. We do not. There was when I was growing up as a kid, right here, right behind me. There was a pond and a dam right there, but it washed out and was never put back in.
Yep.
So no, I don't have never had this as long as I've had the farm.
Yep. Some pastures do, and that can be a water accident for the cattle. But then a lot of times farmers will also limit what part of the pond that they're entering so that that doesn't happen. It doesn't get washed out. They can maintain the banks. So those ponds can be quite a bit of maintenance sometimes. But Bruce has enough other watering systems here that he hasn't put in a pond. Okay, anything else, or should we move on to how he sells the beef?
One more question here.
Okay.
How many trees on average do you grow per year?
They're very interested in the trees. Good. I mean, are you continually planting trees, Bruce?
I think I plant probably somewhere between 100 and 1,000 trees a year. Now, these are like little seedlings, so they're only 6 to 12 inches tall, bare root seedlings, and probably it's not unusual, maybe 50% of them die. So it sounds like a lot of trees, but it's not as many as it could be. And I probably don't do it every year. Probably most years it's 100 or something like that, and I just fill in some tree plantings or windbreaks or stuff that need to thicken up a little bit and get more trees in.
Okay. Well, as we're gonna close by talking how he markets the beef, but we're gonna try to walk and talk and get a little down closer by the cattle toward the end of the program to see if we can give you a little better look. It might scare them away too. That's why I'm doing it at the end. But I love there's a lot of little calves just jumping around and having a good old time today in this beautiful pasture that I'd love you to be able to see the cattle a little better. So Bruce, can you tell us how you market? So I know this is a family project and your daughter's also involved in selling the beef, but how do you direct sell? I mean, I saw a sign out in front of the farm saying that you have beef available, but how else have you found the customers to sell the beef to?
Well, the expert is my daughter, but I'll try to tell you what she does. Basically social media, right? She's on Facebook. She goes to a lot of swap sites and things like that and advertises our beef. But we sell beef probably in a surrounding area of maybe, most of it I'd say is 50. Maybe we get out as far as 100 miles. I know we got a few customers that come from Illinois and pick up a quarter of a beef every year and do some things like that. So we go everywhere, but it's really a social media thing to where she goes out and just markets our product. And beef is just one of our products. One of my boys raises poultry, turkeys, and chickens and sells poultry or chicken. My daughter and her husband on their farm in Gilbert raise pork, heritage breed pork, and direct market that off their farm. So we market a lot of different products. Eggs up on the hill. There's a little building up on the hill you can't hardly see now. We're down here, but Pasture eggs up there on the hill that my son does. So, and as far as we just, it's the best word of mouth. People talking to each other. Actually, in 2 weeks, we're going to have a customer appreciation day out here and invite all our customers out here to look at the farm, see what we do, talk about what we do out here. And kind of the same thing we're doing right here with you guys. And, you know, we just try to invite everybody out and sell ourselves. It's really not about selling the product. It's not the product. You're selling your story. You're selling what you do. Is really what you're doing.
And the farm does. It's Carney Family Farms, and they have a website. So later, I'd encourage you guys to get on the website and take a look at it. You can read more about the farm and what all they offer. But there's some pages that give a kind of a little bit of background and more about the history of the farm and their philosophy. So we can kind of see some calves up here. I'm going to walk a little bit. And these cattle are pretty friendly because they're used to Bruce coming. They know when Bruce comes on the gator that it's eating time. They get some fresh grass to eat, so they're pretty friendly. Here, you see them? So we're pretty close to them now. There's a little calf off to the right-hand side. All right. Well, we will close by any other questions that you have. Will, any questions before we close? I know it's about time that you guys need to go as well.
One last question.
All right, I think we're good, Cindy. Thank you very much for the tour. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye, students.